being a copy of us and European strong. So we are still expecting our daddy in the house join us very soon. We are still continuing by calling. Let me call upon the guest speaker. Our guest speaker for today's International Women in Engineering Day is nobody but Professor So good, you're having our daddies coming in. You're welcome, you're welcome. So there's one delay of you're waiting for them. So I've been for. So we're going to call upon them to come and sit down on the high table. The first person I'm calling is Professor O.J. Oyelade, the first man of NSC to follow him is Professor Z.K. Adeyemo. You know that but we don't say we are going here, we don't say Aburo, but they are the one that will okay, I'm calling the two of them, they are the ones that grew. So we have them in the house. But we also have our mommy, the first chairperson, the chairman of Halfway Ogbomoso brand, Professor Afolabi, Professor Mr. Afolabi. You're welcome back. Come and sit down. Come and join the professors. I'm thinking the chairperson. Thank you very much. The next person I'm calling now, our chairman, our able chairman, current chairman of INWED, Professor A.O. Okay, let's let them say. She's the mother of the day. So not bother about where she sits, our mother again. So the next thing on the program, since we have all our guests on the high table, is the welcome address. So let me call upon the chairperson to come and give us the welcome address. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Professor X. Every represented by Professor Z.K. Chairman, NSC Ogbomoso, Engineer, J.O. Our distinguished professor, chairperson, Professor Ogbomoso, our president, and immediate past chairman,
Professor Mrs. Afolabi, our guest lecturer, INWED collegians, ladies and gentlemen. All glory to God Almighty for making us up to witness another International Women in Engineering Day, INWED 2022. It is with great joy that I welcome you all and all our online viewers to this annual occasion of INWED. International Women in Engineering Day began in the UK in 2014 as a national campaign from the Women's Engineering Society, WES. Since then, INWED has grown enormously, receiving UNESCO patronage in 2016 and going truly global the following year. National Women in Engineering Day was launched for the first time in the UK on 23rd June 2014 by the West to celebrate its 95th anniversary. In 2017, National Women in Engineering Day became international for the first time due to the interest and enthusiasm developed by the international audience and participants in the previous years. International Women in Engineering Day was born to enable the celebration of women in engineering to become global. Distinguished guests and eminent personalities here present. This is the third edition commemorated by Ogbomoso chapter, with this year's theme, Inventors and Innovators, which is targeted towards partly celebrating the amazing work that women engineers around the world are doing to support lives and livelihoods every day, and largely provoking upcoming and present-day women engineers. To this end, a seasoned and astute academic, in person of Engineer Professor O.O. Ogbomoso, is here and inventors as the solution to the sustainable development. I have no doubt in my mind that it will do justice to subject. As I conclude this address, I wish to appreciate all the executive members for your cooperation and sacrifice in achieving our goal as a chapter. A special appreciation to Professor Shemire F.A., who always uses her influence to make available all necessary ancillary support. A round of applause for Professor. Again, my sincere appreciation goes to the technical committee, whose chairman, Dr. Olaoye, do not be active, but we surely join the program online. Your name shall not go. As I conclude this address, I express my profound gratitude to everyone here present, especially all our male engineers. Now, if you look around us, even the IT, you see that the number of men is more than female on the IT. So we appreciate all our male present here. Whenever we have our programs and we make any call, they are always available. And many of them are even online presently. The last time I checked, we had 11 people online, among whom we have Professor Eso Ojuawo, is one of our guests, special guests today. We also have our professor, our former dean, Professor Olajide, is also online. We recognize all our online viewers, and I appreciate everyone. So, As I conclude this address, I express my profound gratitude to everyone here present, especially all the great engineers, from the Dean, FET Engineer Professor Expo, Jekaifa, to NSC Ogbomoso Branch Chairman. Then we also have our pioneer chairman here, NSC, in person of Professor Oche. We appreciate you, sir. NSC Executive President, for your constant support. My intense gratitude goes to the guest speaker of today, Engineer Professor O. Oguleye. A round of applause. And weaved our program into his main love. I remember when I informed him that we want him to be the lecturer of today. He was like, his hands are full. But even at that, he still finds a way to be here today. So we appreciate you, sir. I say a big thank you, sir. I am certain that this program will be beneficial to all, and so I covet your patience till the end of the program. Thank you very much for making it a date with us. God bless you. Long live NSC. Long live.
Just add now. The next thing, you know, there's something I've observed, and the way our item will do, it's going to be facing like this. I hope it will not be that way. It's going to be face me and face because they still have some girls that are coming in. So as we're just, I mean, when the chairman was giving a welcome address, Professor came in, one of our mommies at the campus, Professor and lecturer. Welcome. Thank you, ma'am. That's why I said face my face. Don't do it. I want to. And thank you very much. I want to call upon Mrs. F. James to come and read the citation of the guest speaker.
Able to read the citation of our guest speaker this morning. Professor Engineer Professor
Sorry for quoting. There's some people here again. No, they may be hiding because they are actually hiding to support our guest speaker here. But it will not be okay if I'm not recognizing my friend, Professor Mrs. Oguleye. Can you my friend there, just leave my friend there. Let's have supporting. Thank you very much. You can take your mic. Thank you.
I said I wanted to privilege to be here to take the citation of our guest speaker for this presentation. Person of Engineer Professor Oladipo Olaosegun Oguleye, Professor of Chemical Engineering and Labs Engineering. Speaker citation of Engineer Professor Oladipo Olaosegun Oguleye, Professor of Chemical Engineering and Labs Engineering. Professor Oladipo Oguleye was born to the family of late J.H. and Mrs. F.G. Oguleye in Osun State over 4 decades ago. He started his primary education at local authority model primary school, Okealoni, Larogun, and later attended Larogun School, Larogun Grammar School, Larogun between 1985 and 1991. Obtained B.Tech honors in chemical engineering from Lautech, Ogbomoso in 1997, before proceeding to the University of Ibadan, where he obtained both MSc and PhD in 2001 and 2009, respectively. Started his career as a graduate assistant in the Department of Chemical Engineering, Lautech, Ogbomoso in 1999, and rose through the ranks and files in academic cadre to becoming a professor of process analysis and development in the Department of Chemical Engineering, Lautech, with effect from the 1st of October 2015. His wide-ranging administrative experiences include appointments as Departmental Examination Officer, Chairman, Accreditation Committee, Chairman, Curriculum Committee, Service Coordinator, Faculty Postgraduate Advisory Committee, and Board Member, Board of Pre-Degree Science. He has also served as Acting Head of Department, Chemical Engineering, Lautech, Acting Director, Lautech Research and Consultancy Services, Chairman, Business Committee of the University Publication, Chairman, Welfare Committee of Lautech ASU, and Pioneer Dean, Faculty of Computing and Applied Science, as well as Director of Academic Planning, Dominion University, Ibadan. As an active researcher and project leader, he has led some funded researches and has more than 90 published articles. He has successfully supervised 6 PhD theses, 15 MTech dissertations, and over 300 BTech student projects, while many are ongoing. He is an external examiner for postgraduate and undergraduate students at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, Federal University of Technology, Minna, Niger State, Federal University of Agric, Abeokuta, Ogun State, University of Lagos, Akoka, Lagos, Lagos State, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Landmark University, Umuaran, and Covenant University, Ota, Ogun State. She has served as professorial assessor for Lagos State University, Ojo, Lagos. Ojo, Lagos, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Adamawa State University, Mubi, Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Delta State University, Abraka, University of Ilorin, Landmark University, Umuaran, and the Covenant University, Ota, Ogun State. Taught at various levels as a visiting professor at the University of Ilorin and Landmark University, Umuaran, Kwara State. Professor Ogbeleya is a member of pertinent professional bodies and networks. He is a registered engineer with Foreign, member of Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, Nigerian Institute of Industrial Engineers, Environmental and Behavioral Association of Nigeria, American Institute of Chemical Engineers, AICAE, and an associate member of Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics, SIAM. He was the Nigerian representative at the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW Associate Program in 2014 at Hague, the Netherlands, with 32 representatives from 194 countries of the world. He was at the University of Surrey, the United Kingdom, and Delft University of Technology, Delft, Netherlands,
for chemical security and safety certificates training, as well as Qatar Petroleum RD gas plants, Doha, Qatar, for industrial surveillance program. He has also attended both local and international professional conferences. He is currently the coordinator of the Life Commitment Discipleship Program and a Sunday school teacher at the Victory Baptist Church, Isale General Ogbomoso. He is married to Professor Kehinde Y. Ogunleye, and the marriage is blessed with wonderful children. I pray that our audience to please help me welcome the guest speakers today, Professor Olula Sheron Olaosebikan Oladipo Ogunleye, Professor of Clinical Engineering and Life Technology. Thank you very much.
I want to especially appreciate the Association for Professional Women in Engineering, Ogbomoso chapter, for giving me the privilege to present the third edition of the Women in Engineering Week, International Women Engineering Day Lecture at INWED 2022. I want to thank the chairperson, the executive members, and the active members of the society. I want to say thank you so much. I also like to appreciate my boss and mentor, my teacher, Professor Telisa Individual, who always follow me in everything I do. Thank you so much, sir. I'm also privileged to have a teacher and a mother who is there. Though she's like all the hosts, that's the pioneer chairperson of INWED. That's Professor Whatever you are seeing in me today, she's one of the people that contributed to my making. Senior professors in the faculty that are here and our audience. And I want to especially also thank my able ally, that's Dr. Engineer Akim Mariwola. We are always together. I appreciate your commitment. Last but not the least, I want to thank my wife. One, and the study process optimization. She has been my most active constraint. Thank you so much, and God bless you. The theme for this year is inventors and innovators. But this body has deemed it fit to streamline it to a particular goal. And that is why our title is Inventors and Innovators as the Solution for Sustainable Development Goal. Ladies and gentlemen, two things are important in the world in ranking the greatness of any nation. This has to do with their economic growth and their human development indices. These two things can never be overemphasized. When you see people gathering at the United Nations year in, year out to discuss issues, whatsoever decision they are making, whatsoever gathering they are making, whatsoever proposition they are making, is always geared towards these two things. That is the economic development of member nations, at the same time the development of members and individuals that constitute the nation. Now, our world that we are in today is comprised of 6 continents. It's comprised of 6 continents, ranging from North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania, and the 7th one that is not yet stratified, that is the Antarctica, because it has not been stratified into countries, and they have less than 1,000 human beings that are occupying the place. Now, if you look at this world that we are talking about, the 6 continents of the world, let's look at these 2 indices that I've mentioned, and let's see how significant and what are the implications of this on their invention and innovative moves. If you look at the first that we have there in our figure 1, that is the South America. Their GDP, which is the indices of measurement of the economic currency, the GDP PPP, that is people's purchasing parity. There are so many bases for computing GDP, but we have the GDP, which is based on PPP, that is people's that is purchasing power parity. It is about 28.7 billion, 28.7 trillion for North America. Inside North America, we have nations like the United States of America, we have Mexico, and all other ones, making about 23 of them. If you go to the next one, that is South America. Theirs is about 6.94 trillion. If you go to Europe, it is 31.43. If you go to Africa, it is 7.19. Africa by Africa. Now, if you go to Asia, this is 68.67. Look at Asia, compare you with almighty US and their neighbors. See, it's almost double. If you go to Oceania, that is why you have Australia and all the rest. They are our twin brother in Africa, 1.71 trillion. Now, if you look at their human capital, that is Human Development Index, which is an indices of their well-being, their health, their environment, and how life has been so easy for them. It ranges between 0 and 1. If it is below 5, it is very low. If it's between 5 and 6, it is weak. If it's from 7 upward, that means you are doing well. If you look at this, look at North America, it is above 7, that is 0.747. If you look at South America, it's 0.763. If you look at Europe, it's 0.877. Come to Africa and Africa, it is 0.563. Go to Asia, it is 0.741. And if you go to Oceania, it is 0.715. What is the implication of all these indices for nations of the world, and especially Africa, where we belong? The implication is, if you look at our figure 1 there, that is the world economy. It shows the economic volatility of the world. It shows the resources depletion. It shows the health pandemic. It shows the population explosion. It shows insecurity, and it shows environmental issues. If you put all of these 6 issues together, they have their implication. And their implication is that, if you look at it, the implication is that there is economic development gap. Sorry, so that I will relocate. Okay. Sorry for the break in translation. I hope it's
yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, this is not for me. Now, if you look at the implication of these 3 things put together is there is economic and development gap. Why are Africans rushing to Europe? Why are Africans rushing to the United States? It is because of their state of economy and development. It is human beings that are living there, not beasts. But their system is solid because they have been able to develop it. And the gap between Africa and other nations of the world is wide. Not only that, this also predisposes so many nations to weak institutions. You remember in America, some 2 years ago, where there was election problem, a president was paid, isn't it? The question we should ask ourselves is it possible for a president like Donald Trump to be removed from Nigeria? Your guess is as good as mine. The reason is because our institutions are weak. Which are just the outcome of some of these things that we have mentioned. Not only that, there is infrastructural deficit. Now, today, as we are coming here, there is a standby generator outside in case there is power failure. In other same nations, people don't even think of all of these things because these are basic necessities of life that have been put in place and they are reliable. Now, the issue is if these are the implications of this, then there is need to accelerate the pace of economic growth and development across the nations in order to eradicate poverty, empower citizens, improve education, health, and the environment. Now, look at Africa, the reality of Africa based on all of this. Natural resources rich country. Nigeria is rich. About 2 days ago, Angola has overtaken Nigeria as the highest crude oil producers in the world, according to INVENTORS. There are so many nations that are rich in natural resources, yet people are poor. Now, our growth are driven by vulnerable extractive sector. Our extractive sector is composed of all these our natural resources. How many of our nations are actually adding value to all of these things? What we do every time is to extract them and sell it to people. People will add value to it and sell it back to us in dollars. We are using our weak currency to purchase higher currency that we cannot run with. Now we are dealing with poverty, diseases, ignorance, high unemployment rate, food insecurity, famine, and large external debt. If you are looking for association of debtors in the world, Africans are prominent here. United States also they are still holding a lot of money, but their own GDP can actually absorb some of these debts that they are dealing with. Whereas in Africa, we are unable to do this. There is continuing mismanagement of human, material, and physical resources. Why is it that Africans are not thriving in Africa? When they travel abroad, they become stars. Your guess is as good as mine. Now we have the bulk of the poorest country in the world. We have weak institutions, low human and physical capital, and every reliance on external debt. Every time you keep on hearing our government appealing at the United Nations General Assembly for aid, for help from other nations of the world who are not naturally as endowed as we are in Africa. Yet they are thriving. What makes the difference? We will see very soon. Now, there are about 12 pillars that every nation that want to make it must understand. Every nation that want to make it, they must understand this, and they must be able to put it in perspective. The first three are the basic requirements. This is institution. The first three, we have institution for us. We have infrastructure. We have microeconomic environment, we have health and primary education. The fact that you have all of these in place does not necessarily mean that you will survive. They are necessary, but not sufficient condition. As we are all engineers, you remember in our calculus, necessary and sufficient conditions. The two must be met. So all these must be there. These are factors that drive the economic competitiveness of any nation. The next, they are the efficiency enhancers. Those are the things that will fasten the rate of your delivery. There we have higher education and training. Today in Nigeria, we have well over 300 universities. And when you put the whole 300 together, they cannot compete with a single MIT. That is our problem. We will soon see. Next, we see good market efficiency. We have labor market efficiency. We have financial market development, technological readiness, and market size. We have the market size, but we have nothing to sell. And that is why nations like Asia, if you look at the first slide, our figure 1, you see that Asia controls more than 48% of the economy of the world. Why is it like that? When we get there, we will see. Their own economy is larger than the economy of North and South America put together. It's almost equivalent to North, South, and Europe put together. Why? What is the different thing that Asia is doing that other nations of the world are not doing? We'll see. The next thing that we'll see there, which is the game changer, they are the innovation driven factors. We have the business sophistication and innovation itself. Unless and until these 12 things are put in place and they are rightly addressed together, no nation will be able to compete only on the basis of economics and on the basis of development. Now, in an attempt to address this, United Nations have brought up data bus programs. In September 2000, they developed what we call the Millennium Development Goals, comprising of 8 goals. They are meant to be run for about 15 years, and about 188 countries were signatory to this agenda. It was Agenda 2015, signed at the September 2000 United Nations General Assembly Program. Now, we have about 8 factors here. We have the eradication of extreme poverty and hunger, achieve universal primary education, promote gender equality and empower women, reduce children mortality, improve maternal health, combat HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, ensure environmental sustainability, develop a global partnership for development. No nation can survive as an island. You need the help of other nations, and you also need to help other nations. Now, these are the concluded in 2015. Nigeria signed this in the year 2001. Now, how fair has Nigeria been able to achieve all of this? Your guess is as good as mine. You can look at the 8 things and you begin to look at it. What is the shape of our primary education? What is the state of our maternal and mother's health? These are the problems with nations where we belong to. As a follow-up to that, because so many nations were able to achieve it. Now, when you have achieved a status, achieving a status is just a point, but sustaining it is the major thing. And that was why at the General Assembly in the year 2015 in September at the New York, that at the headquarters of the United Nations, after they have been able to evaluate the achievements, the odds, the good, the bad, the ugly of the MDGs, they came up with another agenda called Agenda 2030. And part of this Agenda 2030 paper is what we call Sustainable Development Goals. This Sustainable Development Goal, unlike the MDG, has 17 goals. And these 17 goals include no poverty. And when we say no poverty, that means nobody in the nation will be poor. Now, you can look at it now. Since 2015, this is 2022. What is the implication in Nigeria? Your guess is as good as mine. Zero hunger. When we say zero hunger, the idea is to achieve food security and also to achieve proper nutrition. It's not that everybody is eating that from morning till evening for 7 days. Everything you eat is eba and amala. But they are interested in you eating the right proportion and the right class of food. That is the goal. That is the focus of the goal. We have good health and well-being. We have quality education. Don't forget, MDG was on primary education. But now, remember, out of the 12 pillars of economic competitiveness, higher education is an efficiency factor. You may have the primary education. If you don't have specialized education, no matter how creative you are, your level of innovation will be next to nothing. So, they have had that quality education, gender equality. We're in a man-dominated world, and we have seen from experience there are so many fantastic women who have been able to drive economic population. One that will quickly come to mind is the Prime Minister of Croatia. She was a retired general who has been able to lead the nation into prominence in recent times. We have clean water and sanitation. We all know that everybody cannot go to government. We all sink our borehole, our deep well in our houses. The implication will soon be done on us when some geological issues begin to arise. In other same nations, these are not done. But SDG is actually to address all of these problems. Now we have the next one there is that's avoidable clean energy. Avoidable clean energy is supposed to be there. We have decent work and economic growth. In Nigeria, we talk about unemployment rate of over 33%. Unemployment. We are not talking of underemployment. There are so many graduates that are doing the work of primary 6 to search leavers. If you add them to that, we'll be talking of 67%. Now tell me, what nation of the world who wants to sustain its economy runs such a thing? Now we have industry, innovation, and infrastructure. You all agree with me, you know the problem with Nigeria here. Decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequality, sustainable cities and communities. Today, we are having more slums than cities. And we have so many urban and regional planners. But where are they? What are they doing? The issue is that every nation that is done economically and development, they are bound to face all of these things. Until we begin to do something differently, all of these things will just remain in the range to us. Now we have responsible consumption and production. Many state nations of the world consume what they produce, but Nigeria will only consume what we import. Now tell me, how will there be balance of trade? Today, the last thing I saw in the market is forex market is $1 to naira is about 612 naira now. God will help our nation. We have climate action, we have life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and all of this. If you look at the first 7 of this development goal, there are things that has to do with human development index, which has to talk about the development. The next one, we have those things that has to do with the economy. All of these things have been put together by the United Nations, so as to see us as different nations of the world, matching up with developed nations, so that by 2030, there won't be any nation that will be called underdeveloped. At least if they are not fully developed, they should be called developing nations. Now, if this is our problem, then what do we need to do? These are the things. The basis of every advancement is creativity. There are 2 levels of creativity. We have the natural creativity that is born out of intuition, and we have forced creativity that is born out of challenge. So many of us have been innovative in time past. When you are boxed to the wall, you think outside the box, and you begin to bring up innovative ideas. So creativity is the foundation of invention. Now, invention brings solution to problem in a novel manner, but that does not fully translate to economic gain. And that is why, if you look at the nations of the world, the continent that we look at, majority of the inventors of the world emanated from North America and Europe. Whereas their GDP can never compare with those of Asia. We have all of inventors in Europe and North America, but we have home of innovators in Asia. And that one makes a difference. And maybe because they are our parents in Nigeria, all what we think about is invention. Invention is good, but it does not translate to commerce. Now, innovation and entrepreneurship. Now, let's look at the layman interpretation of all of this. What is invention? Creativity in a man. We look at a pond, that this pond is quiet. Let me agitate it. When you drop a stone into a pond, this depicts invention. The system remains the way it is. Once you dip it into it, the stone that you have dipped into the pond will create ripples. Yes or no? It will create ripples. Yes or no?
Yes.
That the ripples that is created, that is the effect of your invention. But innovation in this scenario is your ability to recognize this rippling effect, and that these ripples will automatically, when it aggregate together, become waves. If you have ever seen people that surf on sea, they always ride on waves, isn't it? They reserve their energy and they are carried on the energy of this, isn't it? Now, it takes the mind of an innovator to know that when the wind is blowing on the sea, it will generate wave. And once it generates wave, then I will be able to take my agreement and surf on the wave. If you have ever seen anybody that surf against wave, some people don't live to tell the story. You must always surf along with the wave. So that is innovation in it. You create an effect, but your ability to recognize the opportunities in the effect is what we call innovation. Several of us as academics that are seated here, majority of us can best be described as mini innovators. That is why we have researched for 30 years and they have never been making economic gain from these researches. Asians do research that are commercialized. That is why their GDP is almost equal to that of all the America plus European. Now, entrepreneurship is the junior brother of innovator. He always waits behind an innovator. Once an innovator creates the innovation, his own thinking is the market and money. And he's able to make right choices. See, if all these concepts are properly understood and well addressed, our nation will not remain here we are today. Invention. Let's look at those terms, one after the other. Invention is the act of bringing ideas or objects together in a novel way to create something that did not exist before. It must be something novel, something new. That is what we call invention. When creating a product or services, an inventor will establish a proof of concept for the product through testing to determine if the idea can be transformed into feasible products or services. If you look at these are the 5 stages of invention. Conception. This is where your creativity comes to bear. You may be sitting in the luxury of your house and you are thinking, why? You can come with an idea. That is what we call natural creativity. But maybe in our nation today, as we are seated here, we have different problems here and there. You look at the problem around and you think of what solution can I give to it. That's what we call forced creativity. It is an external driven creativity that has brought out the best in you. The potential is there. But because there is nothing to precipitate it, it will not come. So that is why we have the conception. And you are able to define a problem, define a product, define a system. Then you review. The review will make you to look at what has been done in that area before. Are there something new that we can do in it? Like you do literature review in research to be able to know the novelty that is involved in the new research that you are doing. So you review that, then here you go to development. That is when you have gathered all the necessary information. Here you begin to analyze, develop, and design the system together. In the development phase, that's where we have what we call the registration of patents. It is part of the formal and legal way of documenting your invention. There are about 7 levels for registering patents. So, but that is not the focus of our thing today. So, development comes to play. After you have done that, then you produce it. And after production, you launch. Now, most of the time, inventors and their launching are not commercialized. I was sorry in 2014 when I visited the home of Sir Michael Faraday. How many of us know Faraday? Faraday is a problem. Okay, you have heard about it. Sorry. But you will have seen these pictures anyway. You will have seen these pictures. Sir Michael Faraday is an indigene of Gifford County, United Kingdom. With all his prominence and everything he has done in life, you cannot do electrochemical chemistry without mentioning Michael Faraday. It was, the man died, I think they said he died in 2004. Now, 10 years before his death, he has no house of his own, as prominent as he was. It was UK government that looked at his contribution and they now built a 2-bedroom bungalow for him at Gifford County. That is the life of so many of the inventors. But you have heard of another man called Elon Musk. When we will get there, these are innovators and not inventors. They are the one controlling the economy of the world. Once they signal like this, the whole world will shiver. The reason is because they understand the language of commercialization, which is an indices of innovation. Now, there are some examples of innovators that we have seen here. Tavez, the man that formulated that your space. He did that in 1885. He's a German. We have Wright brothers. They are from United States of America. 1903. They established what carries us in the airplane. We have, okay, this thing is gone. The next one here, we have Rudolf Diesel. That one established diesel engine. He's also a German in 1892. We have Thomas Edison. He's an American, 1879, light bulb. And the last one here is Frank White. He's also an Englishman. In 1937, he established different engines. You have heard about Archimedes. You have heard of Douglas. You have Many of those products that are becoming commercialized today, they are things that one innovator or the other decided to pick off from the shelf of invention and now converted it into business thing. Now, innovation. Innovation in itself is the implementation of the novel technique at the microeconomic level, a novel tool or equipment, or a new organization in the broadest meaning of those words, in order to sustainably improve the overall economic efficiency. Please note it. In order to sustainably improve the overall economic efficiency of the society, the buyers will benefit and the sellers will benefit. Inventors are interested in the comfort of the users, but innovators are interested in the benefit of the users and their own benefits. As much as I give you something that is efficient and makes life easy for you, my own pocket must also be smiling. That is the difference between an inventor and an innovator. Now, in invention, innovation is a societal phenomenon that requires a social choice to move from old to new technology or organization or process. In this case, look at the key word here is social choices. They always respond to social choices. The idea is to make phone. Today, many of us, about 10 years ago, our celebrated phone was Nokia.
Yes, sir.
Where is Nokia today? Where is Nokia today? We use Cyber. We use Motorola. Where are both of them today? About 50 years ago, Samsung was there. Is it not still standing today? Apple was there. Is it not still standing today? The difference is that people that amongst them are innovators. They are not just inventors. They are not just interested in giving you a device for communication, but they are also giving you a system that will appear to your social choices. Things that will be commensurate to your new status. iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 7. Which iPhone is the latest now? You know it. Now, innovators is usually preceded by an inventor who has almost all the ideas. The idea creators. But inventor does not know how to recognize them for making them suitable for the problem. Now, this is the structural analysis of innovation process. There are two sides. The thought and experiment. That is, an innovator is always in. They take from the invention and the inventor, and they do all manners of manipulation on it in order to get it to production, and they give it mass production. And their mass production is not for philanthropic idea, it is for commercial idea. The function of innovator is there. The inventor is an inventor on his own, but it's more than an inventor. He's an inventor, he's a searcher, he's an entrepreneur, and he's also a manager. Whereas an inventor is always an inventor. He may, at best, he may be a searcher. But here, he's not an entrepreneur, and he's not as a manager. And this is where the benefit is. The developing innovative mindset. How do we develop innovative mindset? There are 6 honest questions that every scientist or every individual or every nation who wants to be innovative must always ask themselves. These are common questions that we are used to the extent that we have lost their meaning. The question of what, why, where, how, when, who, you must ask it. Don't forget, I said innovators look for social choices. You must ask yourself, what is the society interested in? Now you look at it, why? Why do they need it? The reason why they need it will inform how you will price it. If it's a desperate need, then they will pay desperately for it. If it's an everyday need, they will pay everyday price for it. You need to look where. What is appealing to our fantasy in Africa is not what is appealing to their fantasy in America. You must ask questions. How do I do it? For every process, there are 1,001 means of doing it. But what is the best way? I said in my life, I spent all my life in optimizing processes. The idea is that I want to spend least energy to get the best results. So you must know how. the economy of the world is competitive. Let me give you a typical example. One of the days of Nigeria problem is our Jakarta. I am not a prophet of doom. Nigeria's successive government will be coming to work on Jakarta, and Jakarta will never work. I participated in the evaluation of Jakarta under the leadership of late Professor Akindinu at NISA in 2002 to evaluate. Now, a single unit of product from Jakarta will cost us $220 as far back as 2002. But the selling price in the world market was $180. Who will leave $180 for to come and buy 220? People investing are not philanthropists. They too, they want to pay profits. Now, if it is cheaper for me to import, why should I buy from here? The reason was because our house was terrible. Another example is for political reasons. If you look at Kaduna Refinery, Kaduna Refinery is in Kaduna. There are two types of crude. We have the naphthalic crude oil and paraffinic crude oil. The naphthalic crude oil, that is the least heavy. The closest to it in Nigeria is the one we are producing at Escabos. You can imagine for them pumping crude oil from Escabos to Kaduna. What will be the price of pumping before refining? That is why our institution cannot survive. If we are going to be making it as a nation, we must leave the realm of prejudice. We must leave the realm of just doing this for doing sake, and we must become innovative in breeder. The other thing is when products don't last for life. You must be a good student of time if you are going to be innovative. Then who are the people I'm producing for? iPhone, there are categories. There are iPhone for everybody, and there are iPhone for classic people. Well, you mentioned them, I don't know. So these are basic 600 questions that we must ask. Then there are 7 things that once you commit one, you are going to fail. You can answer all these questions, but once you commit any of these 7 things, you are not likely going to make it. The first one is thinking the answer is there rather than out there. Many of us, when we make little progress, we believe we have arrived. I have made it, I am here. Whereas the world system is dynamic. It's not waiting for you. What used to be celebrated 2 years ago, they have become activated today. So you must begin to think that the answer is outside. Keep your benefits and look for what you have not achieved. That is the trait of an innovator. You don't sit down, you don't be complacent in doing this. The next one is think about it rather than building it. Many of us always sit at the realm of thought. As we are sitting there, many of us have a lot of thinking in our heads that we have never taken steps to go into one day. And what is it? The fear of failure. Innovators do fail, but they evaluate their failure and they use it for their benefits. If you don't fail, you may not be able to make progress. So you must begin to think, not just thinking about it. You must know where thought must stop and where action must begin. Innovation is an active word. You must begin to act. Stop thinking, act. The next one is executing when one's supposed to be exploring. Sometimes we have 10 out of 20 information and we dabble into it that have made you during that. By the time you get to where the remaining information are needed, it becomes stopped. And whereas you have invested unnecessary resources on what you need. So we must begin to give executing its own face and exploring its own face. Be smart. Be smart. Many of us believe this is similar to the first one, but they are different in approach. When I'm a smart person, I know it all. Nobody knows anything wrong. You see, the more you know, the less you discover that you know. So you must get out of the idea of being smart. Innovators are not just smart people, but they are explorative people. People who are able to take other smart people and add it to their smartness. When you think that you are self-made, you are not likely to make it. Being impatient for wrong things. No, I don't have time for that thing. After testing, failed about 1,000 times before he was able to succeed. If he has not explored all those failures, you and I will not know today that that is not a good to do. Innovative people, they are patient even with wrong things. They look for lessons to learn from what is wrong. Confusing cross-functionality for diverse viewpoints. Cross-functionality, those of us who do modeling, talk of interaction. There might be so many factors that have cross-function on what you are doing. You don't start seeing them as different viewpoints. Your own viewpoint is different from mine. No, what he's saying may be necessary for what you are doing. You see, when we look at things from perspective. When you have about 10 people, you are likely going to have minimum of 5 to 6 perspectives. And all of you may be correct. So you must be able to understand where cross-functionality comes to play instead of taking it as viewpoint. Believing process will save everything. I've done the process, everything will be okay. It's not the traits of innovators. What do innovators do? You know, processes are based on assumption, all things being equal. But we all know that things are not always equal in life. You must anticipate problems, outliers, and begin to do the necessary thing there. Now, some examples of breakthrough innovation. There are breakthrough innovation in harnessing new technology. I mentioned iPhone by Apple. They were able to bring a fundamental new product to market, creating new demand in process. Their CEOs, Tom Cook, we know how rich these people are. They are all Asian. They are not Americans. LG, this type of screen flexible enough to roll like a newspaper. When you handle their new technology in phone, it's like you are rolling a newspaper. This is new technology. Their CEO is saying, Chin, these are Korean people. They are all Asian. They are not inventors. They are both inventors and innovators. Now, Samsung, they advocate for open innovation and put all of this together. They are so many CEOs depending on the region of nations that you are. They are also predominantly dominated by Asians. We have breakthrough innovation and a new business model. Microsoft, you know, Microsoft bought Nokia over. The day when they were signing, the CEO of Nokia was crying. He said, what did we do wrong? They evaluated their model and they did nothing wrong. The only thing they did wrong was innovation. They were unable to withstand the level of innovation of Microsoft. And that is how Microsoft has swallowed them. You may have every other thing in place. If your innovation is not competitive enough, you'll be nowhere. You must always think ahead of your competitors. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, we all know what they are doing all over the world. In fact, there are so many Nigerians who are working with Amazon and they are not from their own home and they are getting money. The reason is because of the dashboard that they have brought, the kind of technology that they have brought into their system. There are so many innovations in the IT world. I mentioned of the owner of Tesla the other time, who is now venturing into buying Twitter. Now, what has Tesla got to do with social media? It is innovation. That is where the hint is. So you must be able to look at all of this. Now, in all of this, our dear Nigeria, where are we? Look at our GDP. Our main indicator of economic growth in Nigeria is at 3.6%. Our inflation rate is 17.71%. Unemployment rate is 33.28%. Let's go to GDP on economic basis. Our economic growth rate, C minus. These are the latest things that you see there. Business cycle, industrial production sector, their annual contribution to GDP is 1.6%. No nation can go beyond its industrialization. And why is it that our industrialization are not working? There is no innovation in whatever. There is no innovation in governance. There is no innovation in business. Everything is done. Well, many of these things that you see, they are product of some of the foreigners that are here to contribute to our economy. So we see that. Let's see other thing. See the labor market. Millions of people. 62.64. Now, governance and business. Rule of law index. Yes. Don't forget, we said if we are going to be fully innovative, our institution must be strong. You remember those 12 pillars I mentioned? Look at our institution, minus 2.5 to 2.5. Where are we? Minus 0.81. The government effectiveness index minus this. Control of corruption. This is a government that is fighting corruption. Minus 1.1. Regulatory quality index. Accountability index. The overall perception, that's 24. That is where we are. My final thoughts. Innovation is extremely essential for any organization, especially in today's hyper-competitive business market. Successful exploitation of new ideas is critical to business ability to improve its process, bring new and improved products and services to the market, increase its overall efficiency and productivity, and most importantly, improve its profitability. In all of this, where is Nigeria? Thank you for listening and God bless.
And I know by now, all of us, we are combining the invention and innovation together. We are, I won't say we are moving from invention to innovation, but combine them together for the benefit of this country. The Lord will help us. So I want to have I want to have the guest speaker to go back to the seat, then call those people on the high table, to the high table. Before we come upon the person that will handle the question and answer, you know the other time I said our high table is face me and face me. You know, in the course of the lecture, many professors came in. So I will just be calling them one by one. So one sister Pauline, stand up, we appreciate your calling, thank you. Professor Adesina, Professor Babari Day, Professor Babari Day, Professor Ragi, Professor Adekule, Professor Balade, see, we are facing and facing. Well, if you don't mind, you can just step to the front so that you face those professors on the high table, you face me and face you, be wrong. Then Dr. Mrs. Ebijua, Professor Mrs. Ebijua, I don't like you sitting together, we are neighbors. Yeah, thank you. Any other person? Then I want to also appreciate our security men. You know, in this time of this country, we need security. They are with us. They are at our back. They are here. So we acknowledge you and we recognize you. Thank you very much. Then I'll call upon Professor Mrs. Solire for the question and answer.
Thank you, our moderator. I want to believe that our guest speaker has really, charged us. You know, as I was sitting down there, I was like, who have we offended in Nigeria that we are not moving forward? Honestly, you know, from what he has given to us, we can see that we have a lot of work to do as a nation if truly we want to be a part with other nations. And what will be our response? Heaven will help us. But as heaven is helping us, I think it's high time we all put our hands on deck and ensure that we are doing invention and at the same time doing invention and innovation. We should not let it end at the side of invention alone, but let's add innovations to it. He has done justice, and I want to believe we all have questions. So it is time for question and answer. I don't know, my chairman, how many questions are you permitting? As many as possible. So I need your, please kindly signify if you have any question for the guest speaker. Thank you. I'm waiting. Questions? Okay, question. I think it's better we take the questions together, then you will now respond to them. Okay, if you also have comments or is it time for somebody else to take? Okay, comments or you want to add something to what he has just given to us, you can kindly signify. I recognize it, not there. Any other question? I want to take all the questions together. Okay, you are recognized. Question number 2. From the audience, please, not on the item alone, please. Okay, maybe as the question is, it will bring out another question. So let me invite. Okay, I have one line question here. So I will read it after the first part, second question.
Thank you very much. I want to stand on existing protocols. And thank you. I want to appreciate the guest lecturer. That was a very, very good educative lecture. And one thing I like about it is that it's clear. He used simple words. Not as if it was really big words like that. That's saying what is the name of this word now. So we can feel so that appreciate you. What I want to ask is like, I already heard some things that made me realize that Africa, we are at a disadvantage. We are just at a disadvantage, and I will tell you why. We are the raw material producers. You understand? We have the raw materials. It is based in Africa, in fact. But we have a problem with the developing countries. Because without Africa, they cannot survive. They only have 6 months of good weather. And those 6 months, they cannot really plant anything that can really survive. So they really depend on our raw materials. And because they are the world powers, they price raw materials at a very low value and bring what they have done at high value, which I think is wrong. They should have allowed us, you understand, to determine how much we want to sell what we have. Like one of the things I said I read. They take our raw materials and make paper, they call dollars and pounds. You understand? That is what they do. They bring paper and they take our raw materials. They work on our raw materials and bring it back, and we now buy it again at exorbitant prices. Are you with me? Now, these are your computer inventions. They are the backbone behind it's not working. Because if it is working, we don't need to cross the river. All African countries with parents and we make our own money. You understand? But they want theirs to sell. So they keep. In fact, if you become a minister of mines and power, your life is in jeopardy in Nigeria. Because they're going to say, they don't know they're going to do it. Anyway, what I am asking, what I want to ask now is how do we fight the powers that do not want us to even rise? That is something I saw. The white man that was talking there, he said they will fight Africa to the last of their blood for them to have freedom. Just if they have their freedom, they cannot live the way they are living over there. I have been there. Go to their mass. You see palm oil from Zambia. You see from Nigeria, from Ghana. Every day, go to everywhere. They can't produce anything. You get it? So we can, if we cannot, do you understand what I'm saying? Because I know that the major problem we have in Nigeria is leadership. And there are the powers working against the leadership. If you don't have the leadership, there won't be peace enough to go through all these stages. I don't know about that question.
Yeah, let the second question, then the guest speaker can respond to that one.
Thank you. Let me start with this. I also thank guest lecturer very much for detailed experience. Done very well. Thank you so much. You see, there are so many things that call for questions. Even the things that the best general comes to teach us. So we will not ask everything. But you see, there's an aspect I want to see what we should do forward. Because there are so many things that even when you go forward, go backward, you still come back from that place. Like my friend and colleague there, well, the people presented as those is the pioneer chairperson and also the pioneer chairman. We are presented this together. You see, when we take the external force, what about the internal issue? Even the little we have, what do we do to it? The yesterday rightly mentioned the issue of group of work. But you see that this common thing that they say that usually is the last over. But you see, my heart is just bleeding for this country. When was yesterday or yesterday, I was hearing that even the justice of the Supreme Court, they were protesting against the seekers of regulation. Now, again, what do we do with this issue of to be able to come so many of these things? Even the products that you said, I mean, like Rani mentioned about that, who would give us so stupid that you see the same quality that they are selling for 500 and want to go and buy it for 700? Even if you are for a Christmas or whatever, you also apply yourself, but what do we do? And it's becoming endemic in the system. It's just, I don't know, it's a multifaceted thing. But I don't know what exactly, how can we just move ahead? What will help us?
I hope that's okay. If I have
online. Mine is, let me first, this kind of thing. I'm one of those that appreciates stuff like this, that the Association of Women Engineers are doing. I'm glad to see that your group is coming up with something like this. I'm not so sure the level of companies or management persons that we have to do, but I want to say that Professor Mulaya has gone out of chemical engineering, chemistry, and economics, and financial management matters. I'm surprised that our colleagues are not here. This program will have been much more robust if we have colleagues from Faculty of Human Sciences, many from agricultural sciences. Because the issue of innovation and invention is not engineering as such. It's everything. It's everything. And the question that our colleagues have been asked about the place of Africa in the scheme of things. I mean, you don't blame the white man for bringing a finished product to you. Why you should have asked yourself, what is the place of Africans in this complexity? There are many products that we have seen in this university that we have allowed to die under our very much. And some of them are dying gradually in our watch. Because we have failed to do the right thing. Some of us are afraid of being called names. Some of us are saying, look, there are times you organize programs like this. Colleagues will ask you, never invite from colleagues will ask you, kill F from 18 hours. I have done a series of workshops and all that. If there is nothing to share, they will not attend, even if their offices are next to where the workshop will be. Shame to us as Africans. We don't blame the West for making us poor. Our poverty is a product of the acceptance of ourselves. If you have the opportunity of going outside this country, these guys are not there much. whatever manner you want to look at it. They have done better. Send our 300 level students to Oxford. With 300 students of Oxford University, we can't beat them. Allow our lecturers to go to MIT and compete with them. The difference is that we don't have infrastructure. And if we don't have infrastructure, whose fault is it? Somebody is looking at the university system for 4 months closed down. How can you develop beyond your institutions? This is where ideas are manufactured. And you allow it to be stagnated for 4 months. And you are looking for development in Africa. We have to come. We are talking about our own finished products. Our own products, crude oil being taken outside, the finished one brought back and sold to us. These things are not done without the collaboration of Nigerians. As beautiful as this presentation is, we are guilty of our own poverty. If you make people, there was a time we were thinking of some things somewhere. I was director of the center. We are thinking of how we are going to break through in one area. We set up a committee, we looked at all the things we wanted to do. We were experts, but we know where the experts in the system, and we brought them together. In this faculty of engineering, I moved around and I saw in somebody's office a machine that will crack palm kernel. I interacted with that lecturer. I'm not mentioning names now. I interacted with the lecturer and I said, can we get the one that we can put in the bush that can be powered with solar system? So we can pick that into what you are saying now. And so I happened to be a vice chancellor somewhere, and we wanted to, I saw the owner of the private university, the owner of the university has palm kernel plantation. Why? So I said, this is gold mine. I was negotiating how to interact with the lecturer in charge of that project. How we are going to buy into this idea and expand it into that place. But behold, as I was thinking, then the challenge of security came. No place is taken over by the herdsmen. And I said, how do we push people into this bush and begin to do production? We're also thinking of the similar thing we presented to Senate here. That's a document that we're talking about. We're presented to Senate under Professor Ogbomoso. Some people felt that the project was our ownership system. When you want to buy into it, buy into that project, take it over by getting involved in it. I'm expert in that area, but that idea came from me. By the time the Senate approved it because we ensured that thing did not fail them. At the level of implementation, new concept change. Are you making the right one for that? We are going to blame ourselves. Now come down to politics, because all these things cannot happen without the politics of the entire system. We're not talking of who can do it.
The problem is, I see, I'm not a pessimist, but I see problems coming tomorrow. I pray what I'm thinking should not happen. Where the use of, I voted last in the day I voted. I can't remember that year. That's when I voted last. That's something like this time around, I told my wife, I said, if you have been following my status, I've been campaigning, go and get your PDC. I said, that time I've not gotten mine. And I went to the office there in Ogbomoso, and I sat there and said, I must get this PDC. And I got mine now. And I put this time. But that is what determines our future. We are buying $620. When we were in secondary school, the university, this same Dr. Ogbomoso Fashion, in the corridor of humanities block 3, those of us that went to, now said, if we don't do anything, we buy Asia and Sandy 100 naira. It's not that one. The generation frightened me. The generation frightened me. The youth of this country, if you are not careful, many of us will go to Ghana and do so bad. If we are not careful. It happened in this country before when Ghanaians came here, Indians came here, Pakistanis came here. If we are not careful, that's my fear. Because our youth are having a problem of country. Can somebody give you 10,000 naira and you vote out for us? Concept is the book said it. And you are accepting it. I want to ask our presenter, look, I happen to be the dean, by the grace of God, the dean of the postgraduate school for 4 years, deputy dean for 4 years. And I saw the awesome researches that members of this community are coming out with. After spending years, what happened to those researches? There's no section of this entitlement by education in Nigeria that talks about harnessing the good products of all the researches for development. There's no section of this. And so when you go out of the country, I'm sorry I'm taking your time. When you go out of the country, and America tells you in the next 15 years, Nigeria will collapse. There are no magicians. We are the ones giving you the information. When we go for conferences and we deliver papers there, don't think that what you are saying, when you are talking, there are cameras everywhere. Immediately after that conference is done, we write a communique to the government. And we now study it and process it. Send it back to the embassy where you are coming from. Those who have to confirm what you have said. Then they will use it to project about the whole nation. Whereas when the whole conference is dies. What we are discussing here, if I will want you, chairperson, come out to communicate of what you are going to do, sending to the vice chancellor. If only to advise them that our bakery should be improved upon. If only to advise them that there was a time that this community was being fed with chicken, fish, vegetable from our farms here. So people should be held accountable for certain things. They give you money to produce eggs, and you don't produce it, you should be held responsible for that thing. Researches are not being sponsored. That's where they are in pain. Those people out there, people are spending money on research. And this thing doesn't come cheap. So while we are blaming government, we are blaming our leaders, we are blaming, in our own micro system here. What you have our own problem.
So thank you so much. Questions that I want to put to the guest speaker so that I can answer them together. The first question says, please suggest ways out of the problem for Nigerian researchers and the presentation this morning. So there are lots of innovative knowledge in our institution. How can they be translated into reality in Nigerian society? That's a question for you. And I have two more here. How can Nigerians invent and innovate in the face of hunger, insecurity, and insincerity? And the last one says, how can our higher institution marry all these together to move the country forward in the area of industrialization and self-development? So over to you.
Thank you so much. Let me give you a shocking revelation. I give you that. In the last 10 years, the CBN of Nigeria said Nigerians have spent $28.65 billion for paid tuition fee abroad. That translates to 17.2 trillion naira. 17.2 trillion naira in the last 10 years. As soon as the federal government came together in 2011, they did need assessment that will cost us 1.7 trillion. Divide 17.2 trillion by 10. That's 1.72 trillion per year. That means the amount of money we carry abroad is enough to fund what we do here. Some of our policies, okay, I've spoken about individual problems. Our major problem is our mindset, our attitude. We are not only colonized physically, we are also colonized mentally. And that is where our problem lies. Everything that is from Igbo is better for us. And that is why we have run into this struggle. Whereas when you get over there, you will see that the only advantage we have over us is institution. One of the things is this, even in research, Oyinbo we want us to do the research that they are doing. But unfortunately, our problem and challenges are not the same. Why must I be researching into landing in the moon when I've not been able to multiply this to produce 10 tons per acre? Our fundamental problem has to do with basic needs. And you see, we must face ourselves. Nobody will solve your problem for you. Now, how long does it take to build a modular refinery? I was in Qatar Petroleum in 2014. They built a standard condensate refinery in 6 months that is going to process 8 billion standard cubic feet of natural gas per day. In 6 months, who are the people that built it? Indians. The whole thing, as big as it sounds, is just on about 100 by 60 feet of land. And it's going to be manned by just 5 people. You see, innovation as a way of eliminating corruption. If you are innovative, we eliminate corruption. If you are innovative, our system will run. Somebody talked about the issue of feeding. You see, we are running into food crisis because we are not innovative. This is 2022. We are still operating famine of 1979. Famine of oats and cutlasses. Now the agriculturists are here. I'm not too vast in that. Before you can say a maize is productive, what should be an average per acre, sir? Preservation. Okay, Dr. Lai, you guys are genetic specialist. You see, we have genetic specialists. The last genetic plant that was developed in Nigeria was in program. And that should be 1978 or so. Now, our mindsets are what? And that's why we are not thinking straight. If we are not thinking straight, we cannot do the right things. You made mention of external factors. External factors are only blamed on the ignorance of the internet. And that is why all of them, they are always interested in who leads Nigeria. Now, many of you, about 2 years ago, I think the nation had problem with Donald Trump. It was what politics? It was an economic politics. The man was saying certain things about Africa that it doesn't go down well with them. Do you know that when they say they are giving us aid, they are not giving us money? They are going to bring to us technology that does not suit our environment. How can you imagine them coming to come and teach us in irrigation? I read sometimes ago, somebody was talking about irrigation, they said it's efficient, which they have been practicing since 1932. Now, unfortunately, the kind of leaders we have, when they bring it, nobody votes into it. Immediately it is brought, we sign the paper. Take it to Asia or India. When you bring it to them, they will tell you, explain the technology. For this reason, we cannot work in our own time. We will change it to them. They will agree to them, and they will fund it in their own time. But we always fund all our own things in the hand of the governments. How are we not going to be indebted to World Bank and INWED? Our mindset are not correct, and that is what is giving back to the kind of leadership we have. Like Oga mentioned, now INEC has created innovation. Many of us refuse to vote because we thought our votes will not count. But politicians have seen that so many loose ends have been tightened up. That is why they have resorted to buying. If your vote will not count, they will not be ready to offer money to buy it. So we should wake up and begin to make right justice. One of our problems again about our some of the bane of our problem is religion and ethnicity. It's not about competence, it's not about capability. You imagine you establish National Space Research Center, you made a professor of microbiology the director general. Unfortunately, he was the pioneer director general. Even when the subordinate are giving him what is wrong, how will he prove to it? He cannot correct it. You see, these are some of the problems that we have. You see, the way out, the basic way out is there should be a reorientation. And it starts from individual level. There is no community without individual. If in LATEC you begin to think correctly, LATEC is a force to transform Ogbomoso community. If Ogbomoso community is transformed, Ogbomoso is big enough to impact on Oyo State. If Oyo State is thinking correctly, we are big enough to impact on Nigeria. And I tell you, whatsoever happens in Nigeria has a big effect on Africa. So I think reorientation is one thing we need to look at. The issue of internet, I think that has been discussed. He said, how can we innovate when there are hunger? Our hunger is a consequence of our lack of innovation. We produce yam that will be spoiled before next season. When we are producing, what is our thinking about preservation? Now, when we say we are also producing, what is our output per input? You know, the funniest thing is, you see people, everybody will produce a pack in Ogbomoso, everybody will take it to buy two. And before you get there, everything will have ripened up. And the next thing is that you are the mercy of the market. So we should begin to think. Now we talk about the funding. How do we fund research? It is about problem of innovation too. I tell you, as much as I like people sponsoring people for postgraduate study outside, you spend 30 million on the candidates. Let me give you a very sad thing. A friend of mine was at Cranfield University. NFPC commissioned a supervisor to solve one problem at the new refinery in Port Harcourt. And that project was the one that the supervisor in the UK gave to the Nigeria that have come for masters. The guy solved the problem and the NFPC pays the man. Now you are giving him 30 million or 38 million or 48 million for over 2,000, 30,000 people that travel every year. Convert that to equipment. Buy the necessary equipment that is not in Nigeria that they're going to use there. Bring it here, establish center of excellence. If there are no manpower, it's easier to bring one man called an expatriate who will develop that. Let me tell you what Qatar do. Qatar governments, they are smart, they are in deserts, but their economy is growing very fast. If you go there, more than 40% of their population are foreigners, but none of them is a permanent job. Now, in Qatar Petroleum, if Professor Falabi is employed as a manager in terms of safety, there will be two Qataris that will also be employed as a manager of the same status, but she's the lead manager. They will learn. You must teach them within 5 years. That is the condition upon which your job will be renewed. After 5 years, they will head you out of that place. Qatari will take over. If they need you, they will push you to another area. We do it in Nigeria. You see, our mindset is very good. It has been spoken about. But I think one other thing we need to do, let's start from choosing the right leader. And it starts from now. Start from now. If you collect 10,000 naira for your votes, you can be sure we are going to suffer more than 10,000 in the nation. We are all architects of our misfortune. God will help our nation.
Speaker, last question, I'm just going to read it out, and I think I'll find someone to respond to that question on Zoom. It says, how can Nigerian students become an innovator when he or she does not have all the necessary resources or equipment? So please, you have to respond via Zoom.
Okay.
I mean, respond aspects. Or do you still have the time?
The issue of innovation goes beyond just engineering. You must be innovative in thinking. You must be innovative in processing. The organization must also be innovative. You see, many of our students are victims of lack of innovation of our system. And that is what they grow up to believe. And that is what they are also replicating. He said, how can our students be innovative when there are no supporting infrastructure? We have so many of our students that are now into digital world. They design apps. All what they need is their knowledge and the software. You see, there is no problem that has no solution. But once you are seeing your problem as a forward that has confined you, don't forget it's one of the 7 sins that you must not commit. You see, there is nothing in life that there is no solution. It's only that you are not thought it out. So I will say the solution is that you must think deeper and think of where you can start. And most of the time when we talk about innovation, we always look at something flamboyant and gigantic. There is nothing big in life that does not start from a small unit. Start something from a small unit and you will get there. So Nigerian students must get a reorientation. See, university will give you certificates. It is your competence that will open doors for you. It's either you make it or you don't make it. You may have the certificate and still be roaming the streets. But if you create something else for yourself, other than, have you been to interview where people who say beyond your certificate, what else do you have to offer? They know that you have good certificates. But the issue, what they're asking is, what is your competence? And you know, your back has an adage. What about you need to be careful. Take your destiny into your hand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do not leave this place if we continue, but we have to go. So it's time for people
messages. And we're going to have just 4. 1 from high table, and 3 from other high table that's being facing and facing. Yeah, let me start from the house. I want to call upon Professor Adesina. Professor Adesina.
We farmers, we came around to the end tonight to learn from you. I think we are happy to be here. And I know that this is also the beginning of another better things that we have. And like the speaker and the people on the item have said, I think we should start to think deeper and think of what we can do to make our lots better. I'm not afraid of your generation or my own generation. I know we are very granddad. My fear is the mother children. but like I used to tell some of my colleagues that if I know that what Olorudi and Jingo and the rest of them were telling us then, many people like us will be like Jingo. We not get married. Because Nigeria is what Nigeria is today. But thank God, because we have thinkers today. We have people that are thinking out of the box, outside the box. And I believe that we are going to get there. We're going to get there. Like I share with my colleagues, they knew all my previous students, I introduced them to the industry, one way or the other. Do this absolutely kind of house. Like it's something that has been developed here. Many of these things are coming up. Farming is beyond going to the open field. It's not what you can do behind your house. Innovations are coming up. People are doing something. But like I say, I hope we're going to have a system that really strengthens them. Because the majority of them question is asking us, after producing this cash, who will buy it? How are we ready to buy it? As you know now, when I produce Ogbomoso then, I distribute all over the place. And because people do not know that you can make a lot of money from all of those things, some of them have gone to the bush. They want to leave behind a house. And I believe innovation will take us to where we're going. Thank you for this lecture.
So the next person I'm going to call is our employer. And I know it's good we will bring something to us, to our product. May I call upon Professor and this existing protocol, I would like to congratulate Apple for this beautiful lecture this morning. And I would like to advise that we start from here. Because I've had issues bothering me, even I've had Ogbomoso here. I will just give you 2 instances. I wanted to buy mango. I saw them baskets all over. So they told me they were not selling because they were taking them to the Lagos. And I've experienced occasions when I would be driving along the road and I would see some of them rotting at the side of me when they not gotten, they were able to take the things to Lagos. Another occasion, I lost my mother-in-law to bury her. We were planning to where we would take the roast the people would come. We went to see Tian. I was saying we wanted to take some rooms in advance for the group. He said, when I would do out the burial, I told them, he said, no. He said, the burial is still about 4 months to come. He said, all the rooms have been taken for the next 6 months or thereabout. And he said, who are those people taking all these rooms? I'm paying everything for the next 6 months. So some people are in the town to buy cash. I started asking myself, they are paying that amount every day for these suits, and they are going to pay for their aeroplane trip and everything, and feeding. That means they are making a lot of money from this thing. I started thinking, why are we still having people going to the bush, collecting cashew nuts for this? I don't know whether they are Korean or Chinese or what are they using it for? I started thinking. And I think our problem is not leadership, corruption, just like one preacher in South Africa said, he said, don't process what we have. We produce the raw materials, send them out and buy it. And as an artist, it's a problem that is all over, just like he said. I mean, in the 18th century, I know that Nigerian cotton was considered one of the best in the world. But while the imported ones were not being taxed, Nigerian, the one produced locally were being heavily taxed just to kill that. And today we don't produce cotton. We have the problem of the local gene, and they call that petition, and they will even arrest people for producing that. People have developed from all those things. So I would suggest that we move inwards, even from within our local environment. Ogbomoso is there, being sold, the way it has been sold for centuries. Nothing is being done about it. So I really congratulate ACON for bringing this up, but maybe as an institution, there is a need for us to start teaching our students about management, business management, and entrepreneurship. I don't know whether that is possible to have it as a general course. That would be beautiful. As an artist, we have many artists that are creative and they act. They just get the joy of producing their works. Yes, just like the inventors. Most artists in my own area will just produce artworks, just the job of produce and produce and produce. They don't even know how to market. And many of them die in poverty. Even in history, many of them die in poverty. And that's why we are. Yes, they are talented. And after they are passed on, see their works, they see what being sold for billions of naira auctions. Some of them died in hunger, abject poverty. And that's the problem we need to solve. We have to, and I was at the conference where the meeting was act law. Laws to guide what you are producing, how you are going to sell it, how you are going to make money from it. Just writing papers for promotion, doing researches, nothing is being done. And it's about time we talk about doing something about it. So I really congratulate ACON for coming up with this. But let us start from the from home.
Thank you, Blair. Let me also call upon Professor Rahi. Thank you. Actually, I was thinking of calling him to speak from the high table, but I just saw within myself because he has really given us goodwill messages when it was during the course of question and answer, and he mentioned the issue of this communicate to the VC. And I want to tell the House that we have this program on YouTube. So I hope they are all happy about that. And it will reach, that means it will reach the world, and at the same time the communicate will go to the VC. I hope you are clapping for it and hard. Let's clap for hard work. So before I call upon Professor Rahi for his own goodwill, some other people came in the course of question and answer. Professor Bello came in. Dr. Mrs. Omaika was here. Sorry, I didn't know my name. You are welcome. Dr. Mrs. Omaika, then Dr. Mr. Woodley, you are welcome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you all. And I want to call upon Professor Rahi for his goodwill message.
Thank you very much. I want to spend a visit halfway this lecture. I want also to thank Mr. Today for a very good day. So we want to take the whole way of it. Because we need to start thinking of how to get out of this situation where we find ourselves in the day. But one, I want to say that the basic problem of Nigeria is That's correct. So, because we have all the things to excel. We have a great business. The number is there. But how do we not get ourselves organized and make things? Like I said, our basic problem is that structure from today now. All we still don't have to hold our hands. We need to make things meaningful. We have seen individuals that have innovators who are able to do one or two things, and individual efforts they will be able to commercialize and make one or two things for me. So if you fold your hands, that's when everything will collapse. You will continue to develop ourselves. One thing is, don't think about Nigeria problem too much. If you think about Nigeria problem too much, you don't know that is in your own little ways, do whatever you can do. And think that God will assist us to move forward. Another thing we also need to do is let's not just continue to think about ourselves alone. Let's do about community. Whatever you can do as an individual that will benefit the community, not what benefits you and your family. That's it. Even when you bring people from outside the home and do all of these things here, what our leader will do about them, what is the need here for me, and then let's go to start. So let's go to start. So for you to think of what will be in there for the community, I think and on the issue of innovation, I think another thing we try as well as we can get linked to industries. That not countries is industry that will stimulate you to work. Industries, when they have problems, one of those, they will then invite academics. This is the problem we have. How do people are not solving it? But what we do in Nigeria, where the industry are very collapsing. The industries are not staying there. They are able to get a 24/7 Nigeria, you will be your own power supply. You have to be your own water resources. So that you will be your own ministry of work, because you need to carry your guy inside. You don't know how to pack. But let's not think about that. Let's think in our own little way, what can we do and do our own stuff.
Before I call upon the last person to give us a good message, I'm not sure whether Professor Abalade was recognized. Thank you. Then the right-hand man of our guest speaker, I'm not saying right-hand woman, Dr. my professor Aneku. Thank you very much for having me. We appreciate you. And I'm not calling Professor Elijah. No. Okay. Let me call upon Professor Adekunle to give us the last good message. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Sorry, you are not informed. I know.
Thank you very much. Standing on the stage all the time the presenter. I'm really impressed and happy for what you have said. Yes, everyone has said this afternoon. You know, this issue of innovation and invention in Nigeria has a long way to go. Because as Professor Ayi said, we have to start. I'll give some examples. Look at in our local markets. I'll use Gary production as an example. I happen to have a small farm at the back of my house, fragmented cassava. So I now went to Gary. On getting there, see where the milling machine is.
you will shake your head. That is what people are eating. After, when they build the cassava, mine I built from my house, I hired the bills, I washed from my house, and I took it. Yeah. But when I got there, once I saw, they just filled that wash and they rinsed it. I said, is this how you're going to say? Washing machine here? Ha! I said, my own mother used to have a milling machine, and I know how we had it. She had a gari factory. And I said, the way we do it, if you get to the place, you want to eat gari. The whole place is cemented, clean. Where the water that is extracted from the gari, where it drains, it has a reservoir. In this instance, after grinding, even where they will grind, there's a pit there, where they will grind the gari. Nobody cleans it. You will just grind the whole. Tomorrow again, no cleaning, they will grind. So after that, that's not even the issue. After grinding, they will now, where they will keep it. Do agara. When rain is falling, water will wash there. And this is just a hole. This tax that they and put the garden. I now said, I looked and looked. I said, tell me to my big garden. So I said, this man, can't you get a plank and erect something like a small platform and put it in? Oh, why not? I said, how much? But the point of it is that if our people, if you go to the market, buy a garden that has stone, you refuse it and you refuse to buy it again. Go there again, you refuse to buy it. When they don't see buyer, they'll stop. They'll start producing good garden. So they have particular guy that they call one side, one sound. You understand? They have that guy. But this one that is general, common to everybody here. If people, we need to be educated. We need to sensitize our people to know a lot of things. Even an illiterate, go to the market, go there, they will that. The person will not sell anything, stop doing that nonsense. When you tell them, is it all that will give us good data? So we have to rise up to a lot of responsibilities in this country. This issue we are having accumulates from the bottom to the top. It accumulates, it's a cumulative thing. So, when we people, when we go to the market, you see them the way they do it, this is not supposed to be. If we that are learning, if we start rejecting the way they are selling it to us, fine, they will know, they will sit up. See, I don't challenge it. One big in content marathon, they feel like that's what we will. We cannot die for those buy that those ones. But because we don't do a killer shape, we don't have a choice. We have a lot of choice. It is high time we start telling them what to do. Another instance, I was in the market one day. I wanted to buy orange. The house announced in soap water. And I said, yes, that is all the orange you need. They don't them in soap water. So that you will absorb moisture and swell up. You see they are very fresh. Yes, soap on your shelf. So when I now said, madam, she was so good, Sabulu. Sabulu is soaking outside. I said, I was trying to explain to you, don't understand. And I said, she is soap inside Sabulu. Said, you cannot believe that a woman selling vegetables, she has no business with me because me, I want to buy them. She's the neighbor of the orange seller. She now said, if I don't come. You understand? She said, if I don't come, don't soak it in motion. I just keep quiet. Somebody that's already, you don't know what problem is coming from. Whether or I don't the outside man that I have business with. You understand? So, when we start rejecting everything, little by little, we'll be correcting a lot of things. It's not that the whole thing started from the top. It's from the bottom. And when you ask these people, they will tell you, I don't want money. Because those people at the top are getting money. We started giving the right thinking, giving people the right way to think. or showing them the right way to do it and think properly. Otherwise, there's no way to not affect it. Now they are saying kidney problems here and there, gas problems here and there. Are those not the causes? They say fufu now they use hypo to solve it. Yes, it's true. All the fufu they are selling, they use hypo to solve them. Is it our government that so that it will swell and you have no money? Yes, the fufu that you see they are selling outside now, they sell it with hypo. So solve them.
Brilliant white.
Yes. Not
Yes.
white, so they sell it to swell.
And also swell.
You know, they will make sales because it is plenty. And when you now look it, you know, it's a collapse. People are one, yes. But they must have made their money by selling it to you large quantity. Is it our government that is doing that? It's because everybody wants money. We correct ourselves, we teach people the right thing to do. And the owners is on all of us. Yeah, sitting. And even among ourselves, we are still educated in it. And you didn't want to. Yes. So, yes. So please, as has been said today, let us make use of it. It is a different thing. Something from one thing is another thing to work it up. So, once again, I want to appreciate Akwen and the speaker for this wonderful presentation. Thank you very
much. I want to call upon the chairman, Engineer Professor A.O. Okay, for appreciation of the presentation. Thank you, moderator. I want to appreciate every one of us once again for our patience, right from the start to the closing, because we are almost running. I want to acknowledge our online viewers and appreciate them for their contribution. Questions were raised, comments were passed, and the questions being answered by our guest lecturer, we expressed satisfaction on it. So I'm appreciating Professor Bello. I don't know the title of this particular person. I did your job very active on the line, and Professor Ojo, we really appreciate your contribution. And okay, and everyone on the online, we appreciate you. I cannot be mentioning names one after the other, but we really thank you. I want to appreciate all our professors here. Those, in fact, I never thought we can have these because of the situation of things on campus. So we are well appreciated. Now, the next thing is to appreciate especially our guest lecturer. When I was reading the welcome address, I told us that I believe we do justice to the subject matter, and you cannot agree actually do it. Well, for those of us that came late, one thing I've taken notes from this lecture today is the 4 points: creativity, invention, innovation. What's the other one? So, as from his questions, I mean the answer to his question, one thing I took note of is that we need to change our mindset. And we should start even from our immediate constituency. When we do that, we will see that everything will change, just as he has analyzed it. Initially, when this topic came up, I was thinking the lecture would be targeted towards to provoke the female here to do something. But at the end, I see that the lecture is meant for everyone of us, and that is the beauty of what we have today. So I'd like to make this presentation. I request you to bring on the feet on behalf of
executive members, executive committee of APOIN, and the entire APOIN member. I'm presenting this certificate of appreciation to you for creating time, sharing, and having to also give you some token. Our souvenir. This you won't mind us.
Now I want to call upon the Dr. T.B. Olifade to vote of that.
We are progressing. This morning, I was just thinking about this event. How do we have urgent the rough situation of this country, the rough situation of the school system? But when I entered, I said, thank God, people are still with us. Thank you for coming. I would like to appreciate our guest speaker for today's event. The person of Professor Ogbomoso, I appreciate you. Thank you for the educative, innovative, and motivative lecture that you have delivered so far. I really appreciate you. I also want to thank our Professor Igwe. I know he has left, and I know that our madam will deliver our message. Thank you for the contribution he has made so far. He has given us the key area that we can add value to the school system, like adding value to our bakery. Then another area where we can also add value to the school system. Before I was employed, I was the right someone told me that there was been a sense of a water factory in this university. People from universities that came up after Lautech, they have a water factory that they are selling table water. So almost of the time, I always think about why is it that this water factory died just like that or hold up like that? And I believe at that point, is one of our focus or one of our teams is maybe the establishing or solving problems in our community. And I believe maybe in some years' time, we are going to work on it so that we are going to collaborate with the school system so that we can establish this water factory. And I believe it's going to create not just for some other people. I really appreciate Professor Rahim for his contribution. Professor Adekunle, thank you so much. We have gained in one way or the other. Professor Areo, he said we should start from this side of the that's right. We will do that. Thank you so much for coming. Dr. Aniko, thank you for coming. Thank everybody who has come here to celebrate with us. Who has celebrated with who? Dr. Mrs. Ogunleye, you are okay, I'm sorry. Professor Mrs. Ogunleye, I hope you have recognized me now. Remember, I go to Thank you for celebrating the International Women in Engineering Day with us. All the students, we really appreciate you. Thank you for coming. God will bless you. God will continue to uplift every one of us who have come to grace this occasion with us. I thank everyone. Pioneer Chairman, God will help us that we can be having more successful events, more and more in the name of Almighty God. Now we want to give the opening, the closing prayer. We thank Almighty God who has given us the opportunity. The person who is supposed to make the opening prayer is not all right. Thank Almighty God who has given us the opportunity to have this
event, we thank him, we adore him, we invite every day. May he accept our thanks and praises. As we want to be living here, we pray that he will continue to protect us, we continue to secure us, save us from this insecurity situation of the country. We pray that as we are living, we get to our different destination with joy, with peace, and with his protection. In the name of Almighty God, we have prayed.
Thank you. The program has come to a close.